Hello and welcome to the channel Scene with Chips. If you've been here before, then welcome back. If you haven't been here before, then please consider subscribing and pressing the bell button so that you can be notified of the videos I'm making for the coming year. Right, what I'm doing on this one is I'm actually making a trip to my friend's workshop again, where we're going to make a series of how-to videos. Going to make a few of them, so over the coming few weeks I'll be putting them up, and so keep looking or press the bell to be notified so that you'll see when they become available. But just before I go, I actually thought I lived in quite a good area, but with it be coming up to Christmas, I went down to buy an advent calendar, and you know, half the windows are boarded up. I'm here all week. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, as I said in the introduction, here we are back at the workshop where we're going to do a series of short films on helpful hints and tips on various parts of your Harley Davidson. Okay, what we've got here is a 2005 Softail Fat Boy, and we're going to just check the tensions. So Jed's going to have a look and see what the tensions, the cam tensions are like in this, and just give you a bit of instruction on how to do it.
Okay, so as Steve's just giving you the introduction there, the actual ones we're going to look at is the pre-hydraulic tensioners, and so we're just going to show you a brand new one of them. Obviously both located, you have two of these, they are different, two of them, and an intermediate slipper in between. They're not checked very often, but we like to check them when they come into the shop. We'll probably check these, well, at least every 10,000 mile service we'll check them. We check the outer one, that's actually incorrect. We look at the outer one because the outer one we can see and we'll show you that one. We don't check the inner one because if you're going to check the inner one, you get to the point that actually by checking it, you've actually gone that far on the check that you might as well
change it anyway.
You might as well put new ones in. You know, you've got the heads off at that point.
I guess if you're stripping the bike down that far, just for safety, you may as well just change them.
Yeah, because you're into labour so far that deep, it's not worth not doing them. Yeah. So obviously this will be the outer one, and it's located behind your cam chest here. So we're lucky on this one, we've got Vance 9 pipes, so we can just remove the front pipe. So what I'm going to do is going to remove the front pipe, I'm going to remove the cover. At this point, obviously, your oil's going to come out because your oil pump's behind here as well. So we've got a drain tray in. So we'll remove the pipe. We won't film all that; gets a bit too long. We'll take the cover off, and then we'll show you what's there and how to check it.
Do you want to show them how to take the cover off, or do you...
We can do, but it is really, I can actually just tell you now, it literally is, you just remove the series of bolts all the way around. But obviously, unfortunately, we can't get to this corner because of the pipe. If the pipe was a bit lower, we wouldn't even need to take the pipe off. You don't need to remove any of these because there's nothing in here anymore. This was the days of when we used to have points, but because of the cosmetics of the engine and the appearance of the engine, they kept it Harley. But this is just purely a blank cover.
It's cosmetic now.
Yeah, it's just a hole in the back.
Someone's at your door.
Someone's at the door. So we're just going to do it in steps for you. So we've removed the exhaust pipe, and you can see now the need that we obviously can't get at these below. So we're going to take these out here and then remove it. There's nothing holding it on, there's just a gasket, and you're just going to get some oil come out unless you drain the oil. On this particular one we haven't drained the oil because we're going to drain it doing this and further on in the service. So we'll take this off for you now and we'll give you a shot back again in a second. We've undone this. And you might get to the problem that we've actually just had, that obviously sometimes you're looking at these for the first time ever since it was built, so it's never been removed, and they do get a little bit tight on there. Just keep being persistent. Your soft impact hammer, just keep giving it a tap all round.
I like the way you say, well, we'll just take this off, and then although it was off camera and I was actually watching, it wasn't a matter of just taking it off. It needed to be heavily persuaded to come off, this little piece.
Yeah, but obviously you've got to be careful you don't damage anything. So yeah, you do need the mechanic's special tool now and again.
The big hammer.
The big hammer. Not so much the big hammer, but the rubber hammer this time. Okay, so for those that you have never ever seen inside, this is actually what's in there. So obviously we've got some oil, we've drained a lot of it. I'm just going to put that back in there, Steve.
Yeah.
So this is what you've got, and the actual part that we're looking at, this is the outer tension here. So we've shown you the new one. This is the slipper which goes on. We'll show you one of them, and then the other tensioner. If you just can see right in the top there, Steve, the top of the spring is there. So obviously we can't see that without removing the chain and the oil pump, because this part of it is the oil pump in itself to remove them. So once you get to that far, you might as well replace them, because obviously you're looking at that.
It's a big job to get all that lot out, isn't it?
It is indeed, and they were pretty evenly. So a given get go is, if this one's not worn, that 99% certain that this isn't worn neither. This one was very, very, very little. It normally it's the chain that sort of stretches as chains do, but we changed this. The ironic thing is, actually, we're now at the end of 2022. I don't know when you're going to be watching this video. These at the moment are £100 each, and these are about 12 quid, which is ridiculous. But a little bit of a tip for you: if you do this, and you do need special tools, I've got to be quite honest with you, you do need special tools to do it. It's not, as we frame it, it's not Fred in a shed with a bed spanner. It really is a little bit technical. You need a locking tool. We can show you that. And you need a special tool, even to check this one. Even though you can visually check it, I'm going to actually push it back and show it you. But if you do get to the point that you're going to do it, you're going to remember this is a left-hand thread, this is a right-hand thread, and you need the locking tools, and you've got to put all the timing marks. It's not complicated. You can read about it.
You just need to know what you're doing.
You just need to know what you're doing. But if you've got that rattle and you're a little bit mechanically minded, investigate it. There's no harm in it. We do it at 10,000 miles every service. We investigate it. But if you do it and you do this, it's one of them given things. Remember to put this one on before you start putting all of this on, because everybody goes, oh, clip it in, and you can't clip it in afterwards. So put this one on first. What we do, I would say to you, if you're going to do it, there is a few options with this now. You can actually retrofit now the hydraulic ones, the later version. You can change the oil pump, retrofit, and put the hydraulic lifters on. They work much better. They don't wear out as quick. They're quieter, but it's quite an expensive part to buy. That's one of the biggest things with it. It's an expensive job. Now the issue with this is, when we do these, we'll replace all three slippers, and we will replace the chain, and we also replace the cam bearings on the camshafts, because we found that they were. Now I'm going to show you this. Steve will just pause a minute while I get the tools out, and I'll set this up to show it you, and then I'll go on to show you something else. If you want to pause a second, Steve, we'll just sort ourselves out.
As Jed just mentioned, he said that you need specialised tools. Well, this particular part of his wall in his workshop here, that's dedicated purely to the TwinCam. And so you can imagine that, there's quite an investment. If you're going to be working on Harley Davidsons, it's quite an investment to actually just get yourself tooled up.
The two tools we're just going to look at now for the purpose of what we're doing. This is the tool. This is one of the tools that we need just to turn the thing up. We'll show you that one working. And this is a locking pin. Obviously, you've selections of them. But then when I said you need the locking, this is the locking tool. And there's a couple of different ones, different years as they go. We go from the spring tensioner one to the hydraulic one, and the actual gearing, the cam gearing, is slightly different. So it's a different displacement of teeth. So we actually need we actually only need these two tools at the minute. But if we were doing the full job, the full follow through, we would actually need, I'll quickly count, one for locking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What else do we need? Six straight off the top of my head special tools to do this job right through. So right. It's kind of one of them, and there's probably 2 or 3 I've just forgotten. But yeah, we need all them straight away. So it is a bit of one of them jobs.
Specialist tool job.
And probably really and truly, if you're going to do this, you're probably actually better off getting somebody to do it that's done it before. It does take a wee while to do it. Yeah, it's not 5 minutes on a Saturday afternoon after the football game or something like that. You can do it that way, but that's up to you. So we'll put this on and show you what this does. 2 special tools. the purpose of. So if Steve wants to just come a bit closer, I'll try and move the lights just a little bit better so you can actually see. We've learnt on a few videos we put you can't see what we're doing.
Shall I hold that?
Yeah, you're going to hold it.
Yeah.
So you can see in the actual part of the thing, there's a hole. And there's a hole in the oil pump back here. Can you see that from this side? Yeah?
Yeah.
So you have a hole. So what actually happens is this tool goes through the thing and through into the oil pump and pins it. But obviously this is spring-loaded, quite heavily spring-loaded. So you need a special tool, and you can see it's obviously quite a special tool. So it fits on, and it's an adjustable because you can't get anything else into it really in a way.
Oh, and that just that lines it up, does it?
Yeah, well what it does, it now allows me to turn it.
Yeah.
And you can see the tension has come off. And then if we get it in the right place and I can see. Can I see? Yeah, there we go. The pin goes in, tension's off, and then obviously that can come off. Now you can look at the wear in the tensioner in the top. You want to give me the light, Steve?
Yeah.
So you can see in the top of there's very, very little, just a mark, basically. Yeah. So that's pretty alright.
That's just where the chain's running around it.
That's where the chain's running on it, because it's on tremendous tension on the chain.
Yeah.
So obviously that doesn't justify at all in being changed.
Right.
There's no issues there. Now we actually knew that purely and simply by the amount of mileage that's actually on this bike. It's actually quite low. But what I will show you now is that in position, and then we'll show you one that we did earlier, as they say on the baking shows, one we made earlier. So when I was explaining to you that these were very little, you can see on this one, this is two we've taken off previously. This one is probably somewhere in the region of about 50,000 miles. This one's probably in the region of 30,000 miles. So again, you wouldn't really need to change them, but because of the slippers, we changed them as a matter of course. So this is then 50,000 miles of wear. So obviously you can see the difference.
Yeah.
If I get the light, that helps a bit better. You can see the wear in them. So at that point, we would change them. Again, at 50,000 miles, these people rode in with no reason really to change. This is probably, again, the inner one, slightly less mileage again. But again, because we were doing it, we changed them. Okay? Yeah. So none of these two had a noise or anything. This guy rode in, no noise, no issues, any problems with your bike? No problems, everything's running fine. And that's what he rode in with.
No tensioner? No
tensioner for a long time, even worn the steelwork out. But this guy had no issues with his bike. But when he took it out again, all of a sudden he'd got a super quiet bike. And he couldn't believe what we'd done to it. But you can see the purpose and the need actually to change them. We actually.
So would that have worn away or dropped off?
Well, bit of both. This is worn away right down ultimately to the pin.
Yeah.
And then obviously this bit is still the pin. What's there? I mean, you can even see is half the pin's gone nearly.
Yeah.
And then the issue we had with this particular bike was that obviously it had worn so much that then it falls off. And then obviously he was so lucky because it was sat in the bottom of the housing here and hadn't got into the pump recycling part.
Wow, because if that had got caught up in it, he could have had serious problems.
Yep. Oil pump failure, ultimate engine failure. Yeah. We probably caught this. He's the luckiest guy going that we caught it at the mileage. Now, I've got to explain to you, this was actually at about 110,000 miles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It had never been to us before. We would have picked this up 80,000 miles earlier, probably. Yeah. But, you know, it's one of them things you got to trust in your mechanic, your technician, that they do this. If you do check it, you must replace the gasket on the back.
Yeah.
There's a gasket on the back of it. There's the gasket. They're about 15 quid. But put a gasket on it. Don't put anything else on. Put a gasket on. It's worth 15 quid just to put a new gasket on it, and then you know it's job's done, job's right. It's not going to leak, because the last thing you want is it coming back to you and saying, "Oh, I've got an oil leak." Now you've checked it. Yeah. So we had put a new gasket on, and we're quite happy to send it out, knowing that it's going to be good for another 10,000 miles. Or whatever. Yeah. Hope that helps you.
Yeah.
It's quite a simple thing.
It's interesting to get behind this part of the engine though, because it's not the sort of thing that the everyday guy is going to take those covers off, is it? It's,
No.
you know, it's
really
specialist only.
Yeah,
but,
it really is.
I mean, it's the first time I've seen inside there.
Yeah.
And I found it quite interesting just to see what's behind that cover that I've had for a long time. But I tell you what, Jed, that I realise how much of a pain I've been to you over the years with all my plastic covers. I've just watched you take all these decorative plastic covers off, and it's time consuming just taking them off.
It is.
And I can see it's the bane of your life to have them.
It is. For all you guys that love these plastic covers, all us mechanics and technicians hate you for them because they're a pain to get off, and they're a nightmare. They look good,
yeah.
But boy, sometimes we cuss and swear at you on a daily basis.
Okay.
All right, up that up, Sean.
Yep. Well, I think that's pretty good.